next speaker is our dynamic leader, Dr. Vijaya, who will be discussing a very challenging situation, managing high intraocular pressure that is refractory to most measures. On to you, Doctor.
Thank you, Chitra. I think since this is one case and how I managed and what is the pearl, I just stick on to my presentation. This is a difficult case which I managed, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. A 22-year-old female who lost one eye because of the injury was referred to us for further management because her pressure was not getting controlled well with the maximum therapy in the right eye. She is a known case of Ehlers-Danlos since 20 years with a PDA closure and subaortic membrane dissection. No significant family history. On presentation, if you look at it, it is a -20. Most of the enlargement is related to the posterior segment because of the scleral thinning. The anti-segment, on the contrary, was not very deep. It was lesser than the normal antechamber depth. Pressure was not controlled, and there was equatorial staphylomas, and gonioscopically had open angles. And this is the optos pictures that shows you significant glaucomatous cupping with myopic degeneration, which is a pathological myopia. Had advanced visual field loss. So single-eyed girl and has equatorial staphylomas, not amenable for the either with the trabeculectomy or to the ciliary ablation. So what can we do? So it is a Ehlers-Danlos. Opening up and trying to do any other surgery also is difficult. So after discussing in detail, and we decided to do an AGV under general anesthesia. General anesthesia was chosen because of the difficulty in this case to be managed, and also because of the high myopia and the Ehlers-Danlos. So we have decided to choose an inferonasal site because that was not as badly as affected with the rest of the areas, and decided to use the fibrin glue and to close the patch graft, and also to the large extent the conjunctiva, to minimize the chances of the scleral bites you will be taking with the conventional AGV implant. This is a brief video, and you can see the extent of the staphylomas all around, which I have shown. This is the inferior nasal quadrant. As I mentioned to you, she had a very shallow antechamber. Remember that some of the steps what I am doing is difficulties are mainly because of the shallow antechamber. We're able to fix the plate 8 millimeters from the limbus. These are the only 2 bites I have taken and to fix the plate with a 9-1 nylon. Used high magnification, carefully taken the bites to avoid any kind of a perforation, and measured the tube and trimmed the tube in the usual way where the bevel will be facing up. I tend to enter 2 millimeters, 1.5 to 2 millimeters from the limbus, but you can see here I have difficulty in entering because of the shallow anterior chamber. So in view of that, I try to see whether I can reposition. I couldn't, so I have to enter again at the limbus. Again inserted the tube. Again the tube is getting blocked with the iris because of the fairly shallow antechamber. So what I did was I took out the tube and kind of de-roofed the tip. So created like a tunnel. Initially I tried shortening it, but even that is not helping me. So finally I decided I kind of de-roofed almost for 1.5 millimeters of the tube, 1 to 1.5 millimeters of the tube. So even if the tip is getting blocked with the iris, I know very well the aqueous can still go through this tube. So in the standard fashion, I have put the cornea, used the fibrin glue as I mentioned, and used a close the conjunctiva. Because of the short lack of time, I think I have to move on to the next slide. So next day when we saw her, she had a flat antechamber and the pressure was high. So to examine the posterior segment, I dilated patient, gave her 2 tablets of Dimox. Immediately with the dilatation, AC has deepened. So we kept her on atropine and dorzolamide and timolol and continued with the antibiotics and steroids. Next day, this is the Optos picture. You can see hemorrhagic choroidals in spite of all the precautions we have taken. So we treated with the tablet Visalon systemically, topical steroids and atropine, and continued with the dorzolamide and timolol. She responded well to the treatment. You can see on the 6th post-op day with her glasses, vision was 636 N6, IOP of 12 millimeters. We tapered the steroids. You can see the tube is functioning even though the tip is still tucked in the iris. So in a refractory glaucoma where the trabeculectomy is not feasible, even a diode is not feasible. So we managed to do the AGV implant at a site where there was minimal staphylomas there, and use the fibrin glue to avoid multiple bites through the sclera. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vijaya. That was a wonderful case which you shared with us and so much of learning. Murli, could you ask one question before we go on to our last speaker? It's truly nice.
Yes, madam. Thank you, madam. Madam, what options do we have if this AGV implant fails in this patient?
Being a phakic eye, being a highly myopic fundus, even to do endo-CPC is not going to be easy. So I'm just praying and hoping that it will work for a longer period of time. I really don't have any option.
Murli, we referred this patient to Dr. Vijaya, thinking that she will do an endoscopic cyclophotocoagulation. But I think they are so happy that something which is better has been done.
Thank you. I hope it will work for her.
Thank you.